You could eat a perfectly calculated, like meticulously weighed 1,500 calories of healthy food today.
Yeah.
Go to the gym for an entire hour, completely sweat through your shirt, and literally still not lose a single gram of fat this week.
Yeah, and all because you went to bed at the wrong time last night.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is just a brutal reality check.
It really is. I mean, it completely shatters that whole illusion that weight loss is just this super simple equation of, eating less and running more.
Exactly. And welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Today, we're taking you with us to cut right through the absolute noise of the fitness industry.
There's so much noise.
So much. We are pulling from this incredibly grounded, completely scientifically backed guide to sustainable fat loss from Dr. Umesh Wadhavani.
Yeah, his work is fascinating.
It really is. So our mission today is to step away from the magic potions and those intense 30-day shreds. We want to unpack the actual biological machinery inside you. We're going to explore why a calorie isn't just a calorie and uncover all these hidden regulators, like your sleep architecture, your gut microbiome.
The stuff that's secretly pulling all the levers behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And, if there's one core philosophy to sort of anchor us as we go through Dr. Wadhavani's principles, it's this idea that weight loss is actually not the ultimate goal.
Wait, okay, I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Because that sounds completely counterintuitive to, anyone tuning in today specifically to learn about fat loss.
Yes.
I mean, if weight loss isn't the goal, what are we doing here?
Right. I get how that sounds, but weight loss is merely a byproduct. It's this natural, almost inevitable side effect of fixing the underlying lifestyle habits that actually cause the weight gain in the first place.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because when you fixate solely on the number on the scale, you're just staring at the symptom. You're completely ignoring the actual disease. We really have to shift the focus from how do I lose weight quickly to how do I reverse the biological environment that forced my body to store this weight at all.
That reframing completely changes the stakes. Because before we can even build this new biological foundation, we kind of have to tear down the old myths, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Because the fitness industry basically thrives on selling us these isolated cures. And the doctor lists out these very specific, mildly hilarious, but wildly popular solutions that we all just need to stop relying on.
Right, as standalone miracles.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about the honey and lemon water in the morning,
Oh, yeah.
the Jira or, cumin water, the fruit juice cleanses, taking apple cider vinegar shots.
Which is so harsh on your teeth, by the way.
Right, or unregulated fat burners, or just, mindlessly punishing yourself on a treadmill for 2 hours a day.
It's a very familiar and honestly a very exhausting list. I mean, we constantly try to treat the human body like it's this simple machine where you can just pour, a random green liquid into the fuel tank and suddenly expect it to operate at twice the efficiency.
Yeah.
But the reality is that weight gain is never just one thing. It's a really complex cocktail.
Yeah.
It's the overlapping result of poor digestion, chronic overeating, maybe a severe lack of sleep, elevated stress hormones, and just modern physical inactivity all smashed together.
Definitely. And he actually makes this great, albeit slightly harsh, joke in the material.
Yeah.
He points out that nobody just goes to sleep thin and wakes up completely transformed overnight. He jokes that no one turns from Kareena Kapoor to Adnan Sami while they sleep.
Right, exactly. You don't just blink and suddenly have an entirely different body composition.
Yeah.
Because human biology is, it's the slow compounding interest of your daily habits.
But this is where I want to push back on the psychology of it for a second. Because if we know, logically, that it took years or maybe even decades to put the weight on, why is human nature so obsessively focused on losing like 15 kilos in 2 months?
Yeah, it's true.
Why do we demand this immediate reversal of a decade-long process?
Well, the friction comes from the mismatch between our psychological expectations and our biological reality. I mean, just think about your own day. We live in a world of on-demand everything.
Oh, for sure. Next day delivery.
Right. Instant streaming, fast food at a drive-thru. We have been completely conditioned to expect our bodies to operate on that exact same consumer timeline. But your biology does not care about Amazon Prime. Biology operates on, geological time. It's slow, methodical, cellular turnover.
So we're essentially trying to force a slow-moving glacier to act like a sports car.
That is a perfect way to put it. Yeah. And setting your expectations based on the time it took to actually gain the weight is so crucial for your mental resilience.
Right. That makes a lot of sense.
If it took you 5 years to slowly gain 20 pounds through compounding daily habits, expecting your body to safely shed that in 4 weeks is just setting yourself up for inevitable failure.
Because the body can't move that fast.
Exactly. The biological mechanisms simply cannot move that fast without causing severe internal damage. You really have to align your mental timeline with your biological timeline.
Okay, so let's unpack the math of that biological timeline then. Because if we're abandoning the magic fixes and we're accepting that this actually takes time, we need to understand the fundamental physics of how fat loss is triggered.
Right, moving from the mindset to the math of metabolism.
Yes. Which brings us to the absolute non-negotiable laws of thermodynamics for the human body.
Yeah, you can't cheat physics.
Exactly. So specifically, a concept called TDE, Total Daily Energy Expenditure. According to Dr. Wadavani, this is step one for anyone listening, you have to calculate how much energy your specific body needs just to exist and, move through the world.
And this is not some generic 2,000 calorie recommendation printed on the back of a cereal box.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's a highly personalized number, calculated based on your age, your biological sex, your height, your current weight, and your daily physical activity levels.
Which is absolutely essential because, think about a 25-year-old construction worker hauling materials all day.
Right.
Versus a 60-year-old accountant sitting at a desk. They are burning vastly different amounts of fuel. Their baseline energy requirements are just worlds apart.
Yeah. That makes total sense. So let's run the specific math scenario the doctor provides, just so we can visualize this. Let's say after calculating your TDE, you find out your body needs exactly 2,000 calories just for maintenance.
Okay.
That's the energy required to keep your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your brain thinking, walking around the house. But for months on end, you are eating 2,500 calories a day.
Right.
What happens? The body doesn't just vaporize the extra 500 calories into thin air. It packs those extra calories away and stores them as fat.
And we really have to examine the biological motive here, because why does the body do this?
Yeah, it feels like a punishment sometimes.
It does. But it's not trying to punish you for eating a donut. It is executing this highly evolved survival mechanism.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, your body is incredibly smart, but it's operating on ancient Paleolithic software. So when you give it a surplus of food, the brain basically thinks, wow, we have an incredible abundance of energy right now. I had better save this extra fuel because a severe famine might hit tomorrow.
Wow.
It genuinely believes you might go on an involuntary hunger strike in the near future.
That's crazy. So our bodies are basically like biological doomsday preppers.
Yes.
Like they are down in the basement hoarding canned goods, which is our body fat, right? Just in case the apocalypse hits. And as long as you keep giving the body more cans than it needs for the day, it's just going to keep stacking them up in the basement.
That is the perfect analogy, the doomsday prepper. And the thing is, the body will fiercely protect that basement because it believes those reserves are the only thing keeping you alive in a crisis.
Right.
So to reverse the process, to get the body to finally use those stored supplies, you have to introduce the solution, which is the calorie deficit.
You have to force the body to finally open those cans.
Yes, exactly. So if you only consume 1,500 calories today, but your baseline TDE requires 2,000 just to keep the lights on and the organs functioning, you've created a 500-calorie deficit.
Okay.
But your body still desperately needs that missing energy to keep you alive. So where does it get it?
It goes down into the basement.
Exactly. It cracks open the stored fat to make up the difference. And without this fundamental caloric deficit, absolutely no weight loss will occur. It is the physical foundation of the entire process.
I follow the physics of that. But here is where it gets really interesting to me. And frankly, where a lot of people try to game the system.
Oh, yeah. The loopholes.
Right. If it's purely a numbers game, like if all that matters is the math of hitting my 1,500 calorie limit, can I just eat 1,500 calories of chocolate ice cream every single day? I'm still in a deficit. The math says I should lose weight.
Well, you would drop a little bit of weight initially doing that because a deficit is a deficit. But Dr. Wadavani introduces a massive, glaring conditions apply warning here.
There's always a catch.
Right. If you attempt the ice cream diet, you will completely destroy your internal machinery in the process, and the weight loss will violently stall.
Because we don't just eat abstract floating numbers called calories, do we?
No, we don't.
We eat real food. We eat roti, sabzi, dal, rice, chicken, vegetables. And those calories come packed with macronutrients, right? Like carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Wow. And the doctor is adamant that eating your deficit in sweets, refined sugar, fried food, and biscuits will just completely ruin your hormones.
Yeah, and this is where we need to look at the endocrine system. Think of your endocrine system as your body's communication network. It uses hormones to send messages to your organs. It controls your mood, your energy, and most importantly, your metabolism.
Right.
So if you fuel that communication network with garbage, the signals get scrambled. Weight loss at the expense of your endocrine system is just a total failure.
Wait, see, I always thought food was just fuel, like putting gas in a car.
Huh.
How does eating a balanced plate of macros, carbs, proteins, and fats, change the signals being sent?
Because macronutrients do more than just provide energy, they actually act as biological signals of safety.
Safety.
Yeah. Let's go back to your doomsday prepper analogy. If you starve yourself, or if you only eat nutrient-void junk food like the ice cream, the body doesn't just blindly process the calories, it scans the food for nutrition.
Oh, wow.
And when it finds 0 vitamins, 0 protein, and 0 fiber, the body panics. It thinks, oh my God, we are starving. The famine is actually here. Lock down the basement.
So avoiding food entirely or eating garbage basically triggers a systemic lockdown.
Exactly. This is the extreme danger of starvation diets. Your body goes into metabolic triage. When it thinks it's starving, it shuts down non-essential systems to conserve energy.
That sounds dangerous.
It is. This is why Dr. Wadhavani specifically calls out how starvation diets lead to severe health issues like PCOS, thyroid problems, and cholesterol imbalances.
Right, because the thyroid controls the metabolism.
Right.
So the body intentionally slows the thyroid down to burn fewer calories.
Yes, exactly.
And PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, that's tied to reproductive hormones.
Yes.
So the body's essentially saying, we are in a famine. Now is definitely not a safe time to reproduce, so it just throws the reproductive system into chaos.
That is the exact biological mechanism. You are breaking your own machinery.
Jeez.
So to keep the furnace burning efficiently, to convince that doomsday prepper that it is totally safe to let go of the fat, you have to eat the right amounts of carbs, proteins, and fats.
Right, you have to send the all-clear signal.
Yes. You need vitamins, minerals, water. You need prebiotics, which is essentially the fibrous food for your gut, and probiotics, which are the actual live bacteria themselves. Each of those components serves a unique physiological function to keep the communication network running smoothly.
Okay, so we know the math of the TDE.
Hmm.
We know we need a balanced macronutrient profile to signal safety to our hormones. But Dr. Wadhavani points out that even if your math is flawless and your diet is perfect, there's a chance the internal processing plant itself is broken.
Yeah, and this brings us to the hidden regulators, the foundational systems that actually allow the calorie deficit to work. I mean, it's not just a matter of putting the food in your mouth. It's about what your body is actually capable of doing with it once it's inside.
Yeah, and the first hidden regulator he dives into is the gut microbiome. The idea here is that years of eating highly processed junk food, living with chronic stress, and being physically inactive absolutely ruins the bacterial balance in your digestive tract.
It really does.
And if your gut health is compromised, the calorie deficit principle simply will not work optimally.
Right. Let's visualize the gut microbiome as a microscopic demolition crew living in your digestive tract.
Okay, I like that.
Their entire job is to break down the food you eat and extract the calories and nutrients. Now, if you've been eating a healthy diet rich in fiber, you cultivate a highly efficient, helpful crew. They digest the food properly and send chemical signals that keep your metabolism humming.
But what happens when you fed them nothing but sugar and fried food for years?
Well, you basically end up hiring the wrong demolition crew. The bad bacteria take over. And these bad bacteria are incredibly greedy.
Greedy? How so?
Research actually shows that an unhealthy gut microbiome can extract more calories from the exact same piece of food than a healthy gut would.
Wait, really?
Yeah, so you think you're eating a 500-calorie deficit, but your broken gut bacteria are squeezing out extra calories, secretly erasing your deficit.
That is terrifying.
It gets worse. Furthermore, they trigger systemic inflammation, which causes insulin resistance, literally blocking your cells from releasing fat.
Wow. Okay, that makes so much sense. If the demolition crew goes rogue, the whole building project fails.
Exactly.
And then there's the second hidden regulator, which honestly might be the most chronically overlooked factor in modern society, and that's sleep.
Oh, absolutely.
Dr. Wadhavani completely reframes this. He says sleep isn't just resting your eyes. It is when the body does its heavy accounting.
I love that framing. Sleep is the biological night shift.
The night shift, right.
Yeah.
All the hormones, the digestive enzymes, the literal cellular recovery process is needed to execute the calorie deficit properly. They only activate while you are unconscious.
Right.
Your body is literally doing the biochemical bookkeeping in the dark.
And this is perhaps the most vital takeaway of the whole thing. You cannot out-diet chronic sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
Think about what happens biologically when you only sleep, say, 4 hours. Your body is under immense physical stress, so it floods your system with cortisol.
Cortisol being the primary stress hormone.
Yes. And cortisol essentially puts a chemical padlock on your fat cells. Yeah. It halts fat burning completely because the body interprets sleep deprivation as an immediate threat to your survival.
It's doomsday prepper again.
Exactly. And on top of that, your hunger hormones go completely haywire. Ghrelin, which is the hormone that makes you hungry, spikes. And leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full, plummets.
So you're just hungry and never full.
Right. Your accounting department is on strike, your stress is high, and you are biologically driven to crave sugar and carbohydrates just to stay awake.
That is wild. So if you're listening to this on your morning commute right now, running on 4 hours of sleep and a massive coffee, your cortisol levels are already telling your body to hoard fat regardless of what you eat for lunch today.
That's exactly what's happening.
But here is the most surprising and honestly the most liberating advice he gave on sleep schedules. Because we constantly hear about this hyper-productive, 5.80 a.m. hustle culture routine.
Oh, the wake up before the sun to conquer your goals mentality.
Yes, which is so annoying.
And completely biologically impossible for a significant portion of the population.
Exactly. Dr. Wadhavani states that if you naturally go to sleep at 2 a.m., that is actually perfectly fine. But you have to sleep at 2 a.m. every single night.
Right.
Consistency is the key for your individual chronotype.
Yeah. And a chronotype is simply your body's natural internal clock. Some people are just genetically wired to be early birds and others are night owls. The biological magic doesn't happen just because the sun isn't up yet. It happens because of consistency.
That is such a relief to hear.
It is. Consistent sleep times regulate your circadian rhythms, which dictate hormone release. You don't have to force yourself into a miserable 5.00 a.m. gym routine if you are naturally a night owl. You just need to be a consistent night owl so your body knows exactly when the night shift is scheduled to begin.
I love that. So we've got the physics, the calorie deficit. We're eating balanced macros to keep the doomsday prepper calm. We're feeding the right microscopic demolition crew in our gut. And we're letting the night shift do the biological bookkeeping. But there is one final piece to ensure this isn't just a temporary summer diet. How do we make this permanent?
Movement. Dr. Wadhavani points out the stark reality that human bodies are fundamentally designed for perpetual movement, yet our modern lives are incredibly sedentary.
Yeah, we just sit all day.
Exactly. So he recommends at least 45 minutes of movement daily to combat this.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate for the listener here for a second.
Go for it.
45 minutes of movement every single day. For a single parent working a demanding 9-to-5 job, commuting, cooking dinner, finding an extra 45 minutes to crush a gym session sounds completely exhausting. I mean, it sounds entirely unsustainable. How is that practical?
Well, that is a crucial distinction to make right there. Notice the specific word he uses, movement. He does not say a punishing 45-minute gym session. We tend to conflate movement with an intense exercise, which creates this massive psychological barrier.
So it doesn't have to be heavy lifting or like running a 10K.
Not at all. It is about finding what he calls your mojo.
Your mojo?
Yeah, it could be walking the dog, doing a living room dance workout, practicing yoga, playing badminton, chasing your kids at the park, or even cycling to the grocery store. Biologically, this is about increasing your overall daily energy expenditure through non-structured activity. It's really about friction reduction.
Friction reduction meaning like making the habit as easy to start as possible.
Yes. Sustainable habits rely on lowering the barrier to entry. If you view the treadmill as a torture device, but you force yourself onto it every morning through sheer willpower, you will inevitably quit.
Because willpower runs out.
Willpower is a highly finite resource. It runs out very quickly. But if your movement is a weekend cricket match with friends or a Zumba class you actually enjoy, it requires zero willpower. It ceases to be a chore and simply becomes a part of your lifestyle.
Which perfectly sets up my absolute favorite analogy from this entire deep dive. Dr. Wadhavani uses this image that completely dismantles the modern diet industry's entire business model.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
He says that weight loss is not a polio vaccine.
It is a brilliant way to conceptualize the journey.
Isn't it? You cannot just take a diet program once, suffer through a 30-day juice cleanse, drop 10 kilos, and then be magically immune to weight gain for the rest of your life?
Right.
But that is the lie the internet tries to sell us. Weight gain is a lifestyle condition. If you endure a miserable diet to lose the weight, but then revert right back to the exact same sedentary habits, the late nights, and the junk food that caused the problem in the first place,
Yeah.
the weight will just bounce right back.
Because you have actively reintroduced the biological environment that created the fat storage to begin with.
Yeah.
The doomsday prepper just starts hoarding cans again because you went back to the old signals.
Right.
If we loop this all the way back to the start of our conversation, this is exactly why weight loss is merely the byproduct. The actual goal is creating a lifestyle that naturally, effortlessly maintains a healthy internal ecosystem.
So let's tie this entire biological journey together for everyone listening. It starts with the absolute physics of calculating your TDEE and maintaining a calorie deficit to unlock the stored energy.
Right.
It is supported by the biology of macronutrients, giving your hormones the vitamins and proteins they need to feel safe.
Yes.
It is managed internally by feeding the right bacterial demolition crew in your gut and ensuring your cortisol stays low through a consistent sleep schedule.
Which is huge.
And finally, it is maintained permanently by finding your personal movement mojo, a way to stay active that really just doesn't feel like a prison sentence.
It is a highly comprehensive, incredibly scientific blueprint that completely removes the need for starvation and magic green juices.
Thank goodness.
But, analyzing all this together, the thermodynamic math, the delicate hormonal balance, the need for consistent sleep, and the biological necessity of movement, it raises a fairly provocative question about the reality of the world we actually live in today.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. If human bodies are biologically hardwired to move constantly, to digest whole nutrient-dense foods, and to sleep on a highly regular schedule synced with nature, how much of our modern built environment is actively designed to wage war against our own metabolism?
Wow. When you frame it like that, it's almost everything, isn't it?
It really is. We sit trapped at desks for 8 hours a day under artificial fluorescent lights that completely disrupt our natural circadian rhythms.
Yeah.
We live in sprawling cities built entirely for cars instead of walking, effectively stripping natural movement out of our daily routines. And we are constantly surrounded by the hyper-accessibility of ultra-processed, calorie-dense foods designed in laboratories to literally hijack our gut health and scramble our satiety hormones.
Seems like the maze we're running in was built specifically to ensure we fail.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every modern convenience is secretly a metabolic trap.
So perhaps achieving sustainable fat loss today is actually less about individual willpower and more about staging a personal daily rebellion against the modern world.
A rebellion. I like that.
Yeah. It's recognizing that the complex human engine was never designed to run on the cheap fuel and chaotic schedules we're currently forcing upon it. And making the conscious decision to finally read the biological manual.
A personal rebellion against the modern world. That is an incredibly powerful way to look at your daily choices. So the next time you find yourself scrolling through social media, tempted to buy a magic potion or a